back to Rebirth Revolution. My name is Melissa Olson. Let's dive right in. Many people define themselves by the groups they belong to. Examples of that would be their religion and their political party. It's a time-honored form of shorthand that was once meant to convey to those who didn't know you everything they might need to know to sum up your character. But we're living in a time when the definitions of groups no longer convey any sort of clarity. Groups right now are making choices that are very different from what people proudly claim to care about. The old definitions no longer hold. It's all being turned upside down to purposefully dump us out. Understand this. If you continue to belong to a group that is now doing things that are not in alignment with your level of spiritual awareness, you are being dragged back down to lower levels through this association. This is really rough because it's hard enough to make choices in your own personal life that will continue to move you forward. You don't need to lose ground based on what other people are doing. But if you are a supporter of someone doing evil, you are a participant in evil. You and your good name and your earned spiritual awareness grade level bring weight and legitimacy to those who can easily hijack your group to do things you would never choose to do. And being human, there's some part of you that wants to argue in defense of those who are in your group, even though you know deep down inside that you don't agree with the choices. You think the group is part of who you are, but your time here will boil down to the choices you made. When you get to the other side, there's no shorthand that will explain or excuse your life. It always comes down to your choices. Here on Earth, you may be able to convince many people that you weren't wrong or what you chose to do didn't matter. But as they say, you can't take it with you. You will not be accompanied on your journey home by those you have fooled into excusing your choices. Here on Earth, we play with perceptions and spin. But on the other side, there is absolute truth. And that will always be the case. We're all here to learn and grow, but not all trajectories move forward. Many move backwards. Right now, there is so much movement backwards by those who just can't cut loose of the parts of their identity that no longer serve them. It's a sad thing to watch. We live in a time when people have attached themselves to the actions of a man who does not reflect who they thought they were, nor who they thought he was. But as each new revelation of dishonesty, cruelty, corruption, and lawlessness emerges, they still want to remain in his camp. What they don't realize is that they are doing so at great cost to themselves. Karma, as we have previously discussed, is an impersonal system that is designed to fill our gaps in understanding on our journey to becoming whole and complete souls. When you demonstrate a lack of understanding and an unwillingness to learn, you are ordering a lesson that will play out in your life. The lesson will show you exactly what you need to see. It will make you feel exactly what you need to feel. And once you learn it, you will know exactly what you need to know. Resistance will result in that same lesson taking different forms and being redelivered as many times as needed until you get it. When you go along with lies, you order a course in Lying 101, the art of lies, being lied to, and the consequences of lies. Your life will be affected in ways it must to teach you on a very personal level why lying is not a good thing. The fact that you decided to be willfully ignorant does not excuse you from this course. When you go along with the cruelty, you might as well have done the cruelty yourself. You have purchased the course that will teach you everything you need to know about cruelty and all the reasons you should not have so cavalierly signed on in support. When you go along with corruption, you have purchased that course, and you will probably be on the receiving end of a deal that was designed to separate you from something that you hold dear. You will now have to experience the consequences of corruption firsthand. If corruption feels like a good plan to you, you will be dragged back to the low levels where you live in constant fear that everyone else in the world is operating at your own level, that everyone is trying to put one over on you. When you go along with lawlessness, you will need to learn the ways in which it can touch your life and make everything unpredictable and unfair. The security you enjoy because people are on the up and up is now gone. You live in constant fear, which is what the lower levels feel like all the time. It is one thing if you don't really know right from wrong. If you truly do not know that being cruel and dishonest is not what you're trying to achieve here in this school, then you desperately need the full course associated with your choices. You need to hear, see, and feel everything about it so you can make a different choice next time. You and those you love will be subjected to a grueling curriculum that will leave no doubt in your mind that you want to knowingly choose love, integrity, and compassion. But if you really don't know this, you do desperately need those courses. The courses you are ordering may not be delivered right away, or even in this lifetime. But here's the thing. No one gets away with anything. All lessons must be learned, no matter how many lifetimes that takes. Many people think that the only judgment that matters happens in courtrooms and other venues here on earth, but that is not where the judgment that matters takes place. There is no way to dodge the karma you create by your choices. You may be able to fool people here on earth, but not only does that not hold up in the system, it is just the exposure of another gap in awareness, the gap of accountability. Don't breach your ethical boundaries for anyone else, thereby pulling into your list of lessons those associated with the crimes they committed. If you know in your soul that these things are wrong, you will want to think twice before co-signing. It will cost you more than you might be able to imagine. You will be wiping out the progress that you have made, maybe over many lifetimes. And for what? Time and time again, the person who would like you to sacrifice your eternal soul for them is someone who wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire. The people who would have you sacrifice yourself are low-level people. They have no concern for the outcome for you. They are just looking to find a way out of what they have created. It seems like simple fun to weigh in on the issues that others face, sticking up for some people, condemning others. Most often, you have absolutely no idea what the truth of the situation is. But in attaching yourself to the issue, you may be dragging into your life courses that you would not have had to take otherwise. In choosing to participate in a lesson that was not your own, you are displaying gaps in awareness that will have to be addressed. I realize that posting opinions may seem like harmless, hyperbolic speech, but there are ways you can attach yourself to others' issues that ultimately reveal real issues you need to work through, like casual cruelty and vicious judgment. Your personal integrity and movement towards the goal of feeling nothing but love and compassion for yourself and others must always come before anyone else's need for you to cover for them. Any choice that does not align with that objective means you have actively thrown your spiritual transmission into reverse. Don't be anyone's patsy. Don't be a pushover for anyone. You are here to advance your spiritual journey, and you should never allow the actions of anyone else to drag you backward and wipe out what you've worked so hard to accomplish. Do not attach to situations that are not your own. Awfulness in the support of someone else is still awfulness. And the part you truly don't know will be taught to you just as surely as gravity will make that apple fall to the earth. Can we do this perfectly all the time? Absolutely not. But the rebirth will be a reflection of the new state of mindfulness of people who are keeping track of their own curriculum, not being drawn into the lessons of others. Every time you choose to stay aligned with what you truly believe, no matter how anyone else perceives that, is a moral victory and forward movement. You are responsible for that which you see with your own eyes, that which you hear with your own ears, even if someone important to you tells you to ignore it or that what you just saw didn't happen. In the revolution, we will not be subject to others' interpretations of what we experience in our own lives, the things we see with our own eyes and hear with our own ears. You are responsible for what you can reasonably know, and you are responsible for the intention with which you act. If you choose to listen to only one source, then you are responsible for the ignorance that may come along with that. Fact-checking is your responsibility. Becoming uncomfortable with facts that dispute your current understanding is a most necessary part of your growth. Each and every person is responsible for knowing what is going on, and they're responsible for the choices they make to either stop what is happening or support what is happening. It will not be enough to say what and who you are. You will be presented with choices that will either affirm who you think you are or reveal to you that your self-definition is inaccurate. It's entirely possible that you will be the last to know that your definition is way off base. There is a powerful human need to belong, and there are many low-level people who know exactly how to use that need to build power for themselves. The need to belong, for many, is more powerful than the need to save themselves. We are complicated creatures. That is why children cling to the leg of the parent who is being dragged away for abusing them. We easily form attachment that can make no logical sense. It's part of the design of being human. Not all decisions are made with our best logic. We make choices that soon become part of our identity, and anything that challenges our identity feels a lot like death. Thinking for yourself is a brave move because people who think for themselves are the most dangerous people of all. It may seem like you will meet with a lot of opposition, but stay in your own lane. It isn't your job to bully anyone else into thinking what you do. You're not responsible for their choices. Have compassion for those who make the choices that lead them backwards and back into the most basic of lessons. They truly don't know and will have to be taught by life. Protect yourself from them. Love them from afar. Let them work out their own lessons. You can't and you shouldn't try to take anyone else's classes for them. They cannot cheat off of your paper. Each and every person has to do their own work and absorb the very real lessons in the manner that aligns with their current level of understanding. During the rebirth, all will be revealed and all will be exposed. The labels we give ourselves will fall away, and our choices will reveal who we truly are at that moment. It has been a head-spinning daily ordeal to see people make choices to speak and act in ways that are the polar opposite of who they tell you they are. And when this obvious gap is pointed out to them, they will explain away what they said or did with, "That's not who I am." There are aspects of ourselves that others can see that we cannot. Yes, it is, in fact, who you are right now. It isn't the idealized version of yourself that you hold in your mind. Keep that idealized version and allow input to help you move closer to who you really strive to be. It may not be who you envision yourself to be, but it is who you are based on the choices you are currently making. Prior to the rebirth, people would claim the labels that they thought best described the essence of who they were. One of the most often used labels is that of the religion to which they belong. Keep in mind that Christ was not a Christian, Muhammad was not a Muslim, Buddha was not a Buddhist. These are organizations created by men that originally honored the words of these teachers. But now people can say and do anything that flies in the face of what their chosen teacher espoused and followed up with, "I am a fill in the blank." To say you are a Christian or Buddhist or any other religion is to imply that at bare minimum, you try to make choices that reflect the messages and intentions of those teachers. But that is not going to fly after the rebirth. You can no longer hide behind your self-anointed label. If the definition of the beliefs of your group has radically changed, you need to change your group name. Don't drag your deities down with you. You can no longer do terrible things in the name of someone who would never have done those things. No drafting on a teacher's good name. On a less serious note, there is a religion that tells their followers that they cannot drink coffee. There's no logical explanation, since they aren't against caffeine. It is, to my way of thinking, just a way to let people know that the head of the group is going to be making your choices for you. Your role is to obey. Hey, you were given the gift of free will. You are here to use that free will to learn everything you need to learn to become complete and whole. If you think our Creator would be mad at you for having a latte, then we see things very differently. Groups tend to want you to believe what they believe and do what they do. They prefer that you be unquestioning and committed to being their first line of defense. When people know that you won't question anything they do, that your support is truly unconditional, they have little reason to bring their best. You may think you are helping with your support, but your role as co-conspirator in wrongdoing will do nothing but make them sink even lower. Groups tend to want to limit our thinking and often want to use your attachment to them as a weapon against your fellow classmates. Growth is about more exposure to other ideas, not less exposure. Growth is about understanding your fellow classmates, not condemning them. The beauty of the system is that we can and should figure out what we, as one growing soul, believe. We should expose ourselves to as many ideas as we can, using our other gift, intuition, to see what resonates with us for this part of our journey. It will take many different ideas and exposure to many other people's coursework to get us to the end of this journey, where we are left with nothing but love and compassion for ourselves and others. Take it all in. Pick it all apart. See what fits for you. Be brave enough to craft your journey that will take you from where you are now to the highest levels of spiritual awareness. We are evolving into people who are drawn to individual ideas instead of entire ideologies. We are becoming brave enough to piece together our own truth. You need no one else to achieve this end. You only need to be open to the unique path that will get you there. The roadmap already exists within you. Next week, we're going to talk about human error. We're here to make mistakes. So what do we do with that? Tell everyone you know to join us in the revolution by listening on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, or on YouTube. If you follow and rate us, it will make it easier for others to find us. Let me know what you think. Let me know what questions you have. Email us at rebirthrev@gmail.com. Until next week, be open, be aware, watch for clues, and seek out opposing ideas. Remember, you are loved exactly as much as every other person on the planet, not 1 ounce more or 1 ounce less. Have a great week.